It's a pleasant day, everyone. My name is Princess Tria Sila Palomares, Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English. And today, in this video, I will going to discuss about cognitive foundations and language development.
First, we will discuss what is development. So, development is the pattern of biological, cognitive, and socio-emotional processes that begins at conception and continues through the lifespan. Most development involves growth, although it also eventually involves decay. Processes and periods. Biological processes produce changes in the child's body. Next is the cognitive processes, involve changes in the child's intelligence and language. Lastly, the socio-emotional processes, which involve changes in the child's relationship with people, changes in emotion, and changes in personality. Developmental issues. Nature and nurture. This involves the debate about whether development is primarily influenced by nature or nurture. So nature includes those people around us, the environment where we grow up and how it influences our behavior and characteristic as an individual, while nurture is the process of teaching or how the guardian or parents nurture their child throughout their journey as a child. Next is the continuity and discontinuity. Focuses on the extent to which development involves gradual, cumulative change or distinct stages. Next is the early and later experience. This focuses on the degree to which early experiences or later experiences are the key determinants of the child's development. So these are the developmental issues. Next, evaluating developmental issues. Most developmentalists recognize that it is unwise to take an extreme position on the issues of nature and nurture, continuity and discontinuity, and early and later experiences. Development is not all nature and nurture, continuity and discontinuity, and early and later experiences. However, it is still a spirited debate about how strongly development is influenced by each of these factors. Development and education. Developmentally appropriate teaching takes place at a level that is neither too difficult and stressful, nor too easy and boring for the child's development level. Splinter development occurs when there is considerable unevenness in development across domains. So, these according to Jean William Fritz Piaget, 1896 to 1980, Jean Piaget was a Swiss psychologist known for his work on child development. Piaget placed great importance on the education of children. As a director of the International Bureau of Education, he declared in 1934 that only education is capable of saving our societies from possible collapse, whether violent or gradual. While according to Lev Semyonovich Vygotsky, year 1896 to 1934, Vygotsky was a Soviet psychologist, the founder of an unfinished Marxist theory of human cultural and biosocial, a prominent advocate for a science of the Superman, a new psychological theory of consciousness, and leader of the Vygotsky Circle. Vygotsky's main work was in developmental psychology, and he proposed a theory of the development of higher psychological functions that saw human psychological development as emerging through interpersonal connections and actions with the social environment. So, according to Vygotsky's theory, zone of proximal development is Vygotsky's term for the range of tasks that are too difficult for children to master alone, but can be learned with the guidance and assistance of adults and more skilled children. So this is the zone of proximal development. This is an overview of zone of proximal development. Out of reach, the colored green is the out of reach. The next color is zone of proximal development, learns through scaffolding. The purple one is current understanding, can work unassisted. So the next topic that we are going to discuss is about language. What is language? Language is a form of communication, whether spoken, such as speech, communicating through talking with people around you. Written. Next is written or sign that is based on a system of symbols. Language consists of the words used by a community and the rules for varying and combining them. 5 system of rules of language. So, are we all familiar of phonology already? So, the sound system of a language, including the sounds used and how they may be combined. Next is morphology, refers to the units of meaning involved in word formation. The third one is the syntax. So, the words are combined to form acceptable phrases and sentences. So, next is the semantics. This refers to the meaning of words and sentences. Lastly is the pragmatics, the appropriate use of language in different contexts. Another definition about cognitive development. Cognitive development refers to internal process and the product of the mind, leading to knowledge development. Covers a wide aspects of mental activities such as memorizing, categorizing, and symbolizing, problem solving and creativity, inventions, dreaming and fantasizing, reading and writing, language acquisition, etc. Next is fostering cognitive growth. What do children need? So children need self-confidence and skills to explore their world, to try out new ideas, to make mistakes, to solve problems on their own, take on new challenges. What can the teacher do? Build on child's natural curiosity, create an environment for exploration, ask questions, and talk with children. Give children a chance to construct their own knowledge. So, what are the role of adults on supporting cognitive development of infants? So, their vital roles includes providing the base from which infants engage in behaviors and interactions that promote learning. Next is serve as prime source for imitation. So, parents or guardians serves as prime source for imitation of children. They copy all the behaviors and attitudes around them. So, next is provide the cultural context and determine that knowledge is valuable. So, cognitive development is part of children's development in language. in language. So it is the learning and processing of information, our thinking and knowing. Cognition involves language imagination so that children would picture out different of scenarios inside their mind and can express ideas, thinking, reasoning, problem solving, and of course memory. So um short and long-term memory is part of cognitive development that would so that we could identify the progress of children when it comes in cognitive development. Our cognitive skills help us organize what we know and generalize that knowledge into other areas. When we say cognitive development, it refers to the process of adapting knowledge so that a child would develop their skills in communication and when it comes in different aspects such as thinking so that they would able to communicate and express ideas, reasoning for every situation they are going to face, and of course skills when it comes in problem solving and memory. So next is language development. Is learning and processing language through reading, writing, and speaking. So we could see the progress of a child when they are engaging through reading so that they could gather or gain different words that would give improvement to them when it comes in speaking and communicating. It will help them develop their communication skills and of course when it comes in socialization. Language development is learning through different ways, such as interest in books, that will surely help students improve knowledge and language development since they have the chance to discover new and interesting words. Next is language and cognitive development includes interest in books, reading and language, literacy issues, interest in simple math activities, and numeracy issues. So first, it is important that we will going to introduce kids or children to books so that they could gather different learnings, ideas through reading books. Reading can improve different aspects of a kid's individuality, such as in communication skills and socialization. While in language and cognitive development includes interest in simple math activities as well. So it is important that we need to introduce mathematical activities to children so that they could deal with simple mathematical activities such as counting numbers, adding numbers, or subtraction, or the four fundamentals of mathematics. Children should be introduced in books, of course, for them to gain new interesting ideas. Children should learn to be imaginative, that they could illustrate various of situations. Children should be introduced to literacy and solving problems too, that involves numbers. So cognitive development has a great contribution for a child's language development since it refers to the skills in memory that would help children remember ideas and information easily. So, cognitive development refers to the acquisition of skills such as memory, attention, reasoning, and planning. So, it is important for kids to have ideas to deal with different issues in life, different problems, planning when they are solving things that they are facing. So cognitive development also includes language development, which is a child's ability to communicate. So if a child already develop their communication skills, they could easily ask for their needs. So without the guidance of parents, it means they already have improvements when it comes in cognitive and language development. So children should understand speech as well and express themselves verbally. For school-aged children, this also includes reading and writing comprehension. So if a child already know how to read and write, comprehension is also needed. So they would able to understand what they are reading. They could apply it on their daily lives. So comprehension is really crucial when children is going through their journey of being an individual. So at school, teachers should introduce children in different steps of being an individual to develop the different aspects of their individuality. On their age, know they should already know how to picture out things around them. That requires planning to develop them on acquiring language. Planning is also crucial for them. So if a child finally develop his or her skills on adapting language and ideas, for sure they could also learn how to communicate to the people around them, at home, at school, and of course, in public. This is a way for children to also learn ways to express themselves. Cognitive and language development, 6 to 7 years old. So there are things that children should already know in the specific age. So if a child is already 6 to 7 years old, a child should focus on an activity for 20 to 30 minutes or even longer if the activity interests them. So if there is a progress on your child and they could already focus on important things, it means they already develop a lot of skills as a child. So they can concentrate, remember several pieces of information simultaneously, and demonstrate flexibility. So those are the skills that a child should have during their 6 to 7 years of age. So next is, so it is important, it is also crucial that a child should be aware of all the things that happening around them. So a child should already know days of the week, the months of the year, and the seasons, and can name them in order. So if a child already know these things, it means they already have development. They already have awareness about what's happening around them, such as knowing the days of the week, months of the year, and the seasons, and can name them in order. An example of this is when they could already remember and identify their birthdays of their parents, their siblings. So that is an example. Your child can solve simple math problems in such as addition and subtraction. As what I have mentioned earlier, kids or children should know how to solve simple mathematical problems such as addition and subtraction. So counting numbers is also an example for this. So next is they understand the principle of conservation, according to which the quantity of a liquid doesn't change if the shape and size of the container itself changes. You could clearly identify the progress of your child if they could already identify simple things around them. They could figure out things on their own. when they notice something interesting around them. So it means a child already have development. That is why parents should always guide and watch the progress of their kids so that they could also identify what are the things that still need to be improved on them. So little by little, your child will begin to do the following: form logical connections between certain concepts, such as the fact that it rains in the summer and snows in the winter, according to the temperature. So, this is what we call awareness around them. So, they are aware of all the things that happening. So, while they are being aware about all the things that happening around them, it means they form different ideas inside their mind so that they will also learn to express things inside their mind, their ideas. It means there are progress. So next is understand that events occur outside of their own community and environment. If a child already have their development, it means they could also identify what is negative and positive things that is happening in the community. At school, at home, they could identify what's wrong, what's happening, and they could express their opinions and ideas. TV is happening in another country such as wildfires in Australia. This is an example. Understand the concept of money, specifically that coins and bills don't all have the same value. This is an important matter to be discussed to them. So, children should children should be introduced on this matter with thorough guidance of their parents.